on the blocks too much?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that'd be great. So you can just interject if something is going on too long. If I'm talking too long, just take the floor and say that it's time to move on to the next issue.
Yeah, of course.
And then Feng Hong, we have now sent the an email to all of the author groups which have been identified because new new articles have been added. So I think we should really start getting into the issue of the review of the abstract and how we are going to provide the information on how the abstract has been reviewed and the suggestions to authors of how to take this further.
Okay.
Is there anything from your side that we should include also today?
From my side?
Yes.
No, no. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Did you do you have anything that you would like to present?
For today's meeting, no.
No, that sounds fine. Yeah.
I didn't
no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. So that is completely fine. And so we'll really let the authors now consider and discuss their work. That is the main purpose of today. Thank you. And Francesca, anything else? And then Putu, you can start letting the people in.
Okay.
Francesca, is there anything from your side that we should include?
No, Professor Miriam, I think you have everything covered. And I think everyone is in now, so we can start.
Yes.
I'll give 5 more minutes to start the webinar.
Oh, everybody is in already?
Oh,
I see. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And of course, Beth Mima from GoFair sends its apologies. He has some other calls to attend at this time. So, but if there is anything that concerns them, I will just have to update him.
All right. Good. So then I think, Ketu, that we should perhaps start.
Hello. Shall I start on the PT?
Oh, you will start, Getu.
No, Putu. Sorry, did I say Ketu? Sorry, Putu.
Okay.
I meant
Okay.
Putu. Sorry.
It's okay, Prof.
Professor Miriam, you will be the first speaker, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Putu, were you starting?
Yeah, I will start right now. Yeah, I think I will start. The other participant will join us later. Welcome everyone to today's session organized by VODAN Africa. My name is Putu Hadi. Previous week, we discussed the special journal and also the great presentation from the editor. And today, our focus is on the progress of the data production tools and the details of the special journal. As always, try to keep our mic muted during the presentation to prevent background noises. If you have any questions while the presentation is going on, please type them into the chat box, and we will bring them up after the presentation. We will have a question and answer at the end of the session. So I will now hand over to Professor Miriam van Reysen to lead the session. Professor Miriam, welcome.
Thank you, Putu. Thank you for the moderation and the fantastic preparation by yourself and by Alia. It's really much appreciated. And thank you also for keeping a check on the time so that we do everything that we have set out to do for today. So please feel free to interrupt me also, Putu, when we are going over time. So for this session, we have 3 blocks. The first is update on the VODAN project. the second is updates by the different leads. And the third block is the information on the special issue and discussion with different author groups. So I'll start with the first block, and that is announcements in relation to the VODAN Africa project. Well, first of all, following the decision or the discussion in the meeting last week, there has been a decision to change the name to VODAN Africa and Asia. We feel that that is really good because it is much more comfortable for all our Asian friends. We're also doing really relevant work in our network. And it also shows really the strength of the work between the three continents, VODAN Africa, Asia, and then of course linking to Europe. So Professor Francesca will ask for the logo also to be updated so that our identity is really going to be from now on VODAN Africa and Asia. So I hope that everybody is happy with that. Let me see in the chat what you are saying to that. It's very quiet still in the chat. You are not like my students. My students, they are going, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Ah, great news, great. Sounds great. Good. That is number one. Then the second issue, thank you, it's good to see. Good to see everybody. Really happy to be here today again, like every other week. Then the second update is that we are really working hard to make all the preparations for the next phase of the project. At the moment, it's a little bit in an in-between moment because the programs have been approved, but now we need to receive we need to receive the finances. We need to have the steering group meeting, which was supposed to be this week, but then it was extended because of the partners on the other side and so on. So it's a little bit slower than we had hoped, but we're really working hard, and especially Professor Francesca and myself and the VC, to push this as fast as we can and to make sure that really as soon as possible we can do the next concrete steps. I can clarify that what we will do, I think I also said it last week, but I want to repeat it here. What we will do is we will keep the current team intact, so that we really create sustainability for the next year within this current team. And then on top of that, of course, we'll do the expansion in Uganda, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe, and do the technical work that we need to do to really deepen and consolidate our efforts. So that is the overall plan. The last week we did have update meetings with in Ethiopia and also Zimbabwe. So we are making all the preparations to be able to move fast as soon as we can. And I think I can ask Dr. Araya to give an update from Ethiopia. Dr. Araya, would you kindly take the floor on this?
Hello, Prof. Yeah, do you mean on the discussions and progress we made last time, or?
Yeah, so really about the rollout in Ethiopia at a larger scale and across more of the regions, and the coordination that you will do with WANDIMU and Ministry of Health, and then of course the bureaus of health in the different regions.
Yeah, thank you. So as part of our engagement with VODAN Africa and now VODAN Africa and Asia and Europe, taking the lessons of the previous work 6 months. We would like to really extend and expand our work in Ethiopia and beyond to the work that we have been doing on COVID. We are interested to expand the work and in the health system, like in the areas of maternal and newborn, and in making or in using, in applying fair principles to the different electronic health information systems in Ethiopia, like DHIS2, electronic health community health information system and medical record, and not only in at Mala University or Addis Ababa University, but we would like also to engage the Federal Ministry of Health and the regional health bureaus in this endeavor. And besides to that, we are strengthening our team. For the past 6 months, Getu, me, and Toshema Wandumo has been engaged in this VODAN Africa. But now we have new colleagues joining us, Samson, who is a leading expert in machine learning and related data science. He's a senior at Maqala University and very passionate about data science and machine learning with AI as well. So he will be a great contributor to our team. And we have Kohob, a female interested in mental health, but she's also interested in digital health. And Mahlet, she's a reproductive health, public health specialist, but she's also interested in community health workers and digital health. So together with the leadership of Professor Kinfer, who is one of the leaders of the NOFIC project and his team, and the team at Maqala University in digital health, would like to really contribute and support and engage in this VODAN Africa so that we can make a great influence and the impact in Ethiopia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Araya. And with this, I think we can start moving to the different updates per country and then per technical lead. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Reginald, who also has some very good news to announce from Kenya in the expansion that is happening there. Please, Dr. Reginald.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor.
You are on mute, Dr. Reginald. Dr. Reginald, you are on mute.
Yes, thank you very much. We are at the stage of making a review of what we have done in the last 7 months, the growth, how we have developed over the time, and what we have learned from this project. So we have been very lucky that we are able to work closely with the Philips Foundation at the local health facilities. And these health facilities are in Westlands Sub-County and Pumwani Sub-County. While working there, we are trying to see how to make use of fair data principles, points in accessing information and also informing the public, and making sure that the facilities that are serving the persons who are poor in this region are properly harnessed for the benefit of getting the information across the board. So in the next period, what we are trying to do is working closely with the Philips Foundation, and I'm very happy that the CEOs of Philips are working with us to develop, first of all, systems in place to conduct research, write papers, and also bring together the expertise in seeing how an international organization like Philips can work at a very local level in the informal settlements. So the team here, we are collaborating with the data stewards, the doctors who are in charge from the Ministry of Health, like Dr. Asma, Dr. Miriam, there is Frederick, there is William, there is Francis, there is Whitney. These are people who are always on the ground to see that whatever data we collect, we're able to feed it in the system and make it fair. So we hope in the next few weeks to give a proper comprehensive report on what we're doing. Right now, what we're doing is just putting the team together, asking the right questions, and seeing to it that we're able to deal with SDG number 3 that looks at health and well-being. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Reginald. And I would just like to suggest that between yourself, Dr. Reginald, and Dr. Araya, it will be good to keep a close coordination in the sense that there are 3 levels of interest that really go across. That is, one is the requirement for data production to relate to the DHIS information system. The emphasis on maternal health, which is the case in Pumwani Hospital and also in some of the places, I think in Ethiopia. And then also both of you, Dr. Araya and Dr. Reginald, the focus on in relation to the governance with Dr. Araya working very closely with the Bureaus of Health and Ministry of Health. Of course, Wondimu is there first of all. And then Dr. Reginald, the same with Dr. Asma and Camry and so on. So these are 3 levels: the production of maternal health data, the relationship of the data to the HIS, the health information systems, and then the governance within countries, where it will be very good on these 3 topics, also across to do the coordination and at least to keep informing each other on the way forward on all of these 3 issues. I'm looking at Nigeria, if there is an update. Professor Sakinat, I know that the last FDP has also been deployed successfully. Would you or Ibrahim or anyone else like to speak to this at this moment? Nigeria team?
Yes, Prof.
Ibrahim.
Yes, Prof. Good afternoon. Yeah, in Nigeria, all things are being set, and as a matter of fact, previously we were working on restoring the one of the DSN, which they have successfully fixed, and everything at the moment is going as planned.
Excellent. That is very good news. Then if we go looking at the time at some of the technical leads, I would like to give the floor to Getu, who has been working hard to start the work on creating the flexibility in the templates to adapt them to the realities in our health systems. Getu, can I give you the floor?
Yes, Professor. Hello, everybody. To give you some update on the on my side, I'm engaged in the expansion of the DSW on making it flexible to create templates. So I have been in contact with the DSW team. So as per their recommendation, a new form requires two-part implementation. So the first one is knowledge model. Knowledge model is it's a kind of template for creating a questionnaire or forms like that of the CRF that we know in our FDP. To create the knowledge model, we need the DSW. So And the knowledge model can create the questionnaires that we are using right now in the DSW. So to expand it, to create new forms, we need to know how the knowledge model works. For your information, this knowledge model can be done at a user level in the DSW. So we can make a new knowledge model. However, the second concrete thing that we have to know is the RDF export templates, which requires technical skill. So right now, I already know how to set up the knowledge model and the form. However, now I'm just starting exploring the how to set up the RDF export template. So I'm in contact with Mark. If you may know him from the previous training, he was helping us to answer our questions when we face errors. So Marek suggested some documents, and I'm trying to look at some of the documents so that I can grasp the technologies that they are working on. So right now I'm just setting up the platforms that I need to create the RDF template export templates. So going forward, after looking and exploring these documents, I hope I will understand how it works, and I will try to communicate the DSW group, and by next week I will try to come up with a new template like that of the CRF. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Putu. I'm looking also if there are any questions. If there are questions for Putu, please put them, and then he can still answer them.
Sorry, Professor Miriam, it's Getu.
Getu. Oh, I'm so confused. Sorry. So if you have questions to Getu, please ask them, and then he can answer them. Then I continue. Aliyah is here. Aliyah is the host on the VODAN Africa. You can see her there. Aliyah's work will be to work with John Grabiel. You remember that he was here on the platform some few months ago to explain how CEDAR templates could be used for the data production. Then we had the issue of the localization of the templates, and also really the templates being ready for deployment of observational patient data. So Aliyah will be working with John Grabiel on this, the localization of CEDAR and preparation of the templates for us. That way it will also give us a very good comparison to between when to use the DSW system and when to use the CEDAR system. And Aliyah will also be working with Eric Schultes on the interoperability of all the COVID-19 research data, which will come to a conclusion in the next 6 weeks or so. So she'll be working very closely within that group of Eric Schultes and John Grabiel. At some point, we'll keep reporting here, and at some point we'll also look at how requirements and specifications relate to the formats for data production under these different modus operandi. So, Aliyah, was that all right? Anything to add from your side, Aliyah?
Hello, everyone. Yes, that's clear for me. For now, I don't have anything to add. Yeah.
Thank you. And then we have just been in a meeting. Many of you were there with the team of the LUMC with under the leadership of Eric Flickenschild. And there we have agreed 6 areas of common work. The first area is working with test data. So this is in addition to our real data deployment, but test data allowing us to also test access and security issues. And the lead person on that will be Mariam. I don't know, Mariam, you have anything that you want to add on this at this point?
No, not at this point.
Thank you. Then the issues of access control, so how the data are safe and what are the conditions for access. There are 3 people assigned to this on suggestion of Dr. Francesca, Professor Francesca, and that is Getu and Putu, so this time I'm saying it right, Getu and Putu, and Olobole Afolabi. So 3 people from our group. Putu, you also, I don't know whether you were in that meeting, but your name was also suggested to work with the LUMC team on access control. And for further questions, I think Dr. Francesca will be informing you. Then there is a group proposed on governance and certification, which I think is very important, actually. This is about the whole area of trust. I am thinking that, no, and we have agreed, actually, that this will be taken up by the VODAN Africa and Asia coordinators meeting. So that is Dr. Araya, Dr. Reginald, Dr. Sakinat, Dr. Gardalu, Dr. Chindanya, and then of course the VC, Professor Francesca. So that is the 3rd group. Then there is the data production with the DSW wizard, which will be led by Getu, obviously. The work of Aliyah, we mentioned as a 5th group there on CEDA, data production. And then Mariam also to lead the documentation of the querying efforts. And I think it's quite important because it looks like LUMC is really interested to do the querying across the 7 FDPs. And I'm thinking also that this will be quite important for us to do as well, and also to make sure that this feeds into our publications that we are preparing for the special. So I think now, Putu, I'm nicely on time for the next topic, which is the special issue. I'm just reading here from Dr. Reginald. Thank you on the collaboration of VODAN Africa with Asia, VODANA. I just checked in Sanskrit the meaning VODANA of VODAN and how it connects to us. All about a leading healthy life. That's really nice. Thank you for this link with Asia. Thank you, Dr. Reginald. I think that makes the name then very appropriate. Now, let me, before I go to the special issue, let me first ask if we have exhausted the updates for today on the work in VODAN Africa and Asia, the ongoing work. Is there anything else to add? Perhaps I can just mention that Sarah, who is also here and one of our students, that she will be, Sarah Nodei, she'll be working on the deployment of fair data production, especially with private health providers. So Dr. Reginald, she will also in fact be relevant for your team and your team working with the Philips team. So, Sakinat, can we get a link to this group, these 6 groups? Yeah, let me, this was just an hour before we had this meeting. So let me speak with Professor Francesca, Dr. Sakinat, and then see how we create links or whatever to these groups. In any case, everybody will be always coming back here for sure to report. Then I go to the special issue. For that, I would like to really thank Alia and Misha for their lot of preparatory work that they have done in the last week. Probably you have been receiving their emails and updates. They have communicated that the abstract proposal has been extended to the 25th of October. And perhaps I can give either Alia or Misha the floor to explain where the information can be found on the special issue and where all the articles are available to put in the abstracts. Alia or Misha, would you like to take the floor on this?
Yes, I can say a few words about that. So, as you, Professor, mentioned before, we sent the link for the abstracts that everyone can put their abstracts in a Google Doc. But also, we also attached the links to the outline itself, where everyone can see the articles itself and put authors on it and suggest anything that they want. And also, in the link, there are a lot of links to the folder. So there is a link to the folder where everyone can find the abstracts or the links for the each article. So yeah, that's probably it.
Excellent, Alia. And perhaps I can ask you or Misha to put the links to the issue again and to the Google Sheet links to each of the articles. I mean, not all of the articles, but to the folder for it. So if you go to the folder, then you see all the articles lined up there. You can find the articles or the article where you are engaged with, and then the work on the abstract can start. The abstract doesn't need to be long, but you know, if you're already on the way and you have more than what is a normal abstract, a normal abstract should be maybe something like 350 words. But if it is already a bit longer, then that is also fine. We just would like to get an idea of your idea about the article that you are writing. What is also important to say is that the principle here is that it is good to have many authors. So it is not better if you are on your own, the only one author. It's actually really good if the article allows different experiences on the same topic to come together and to be interrogated. And so the recommendation is, in as far as it is useful for the article, to really make use of different authors with different experiences relating to the same topic to expand the base for that article. Sometimes we have made suggestions for it because sometimes across the articles we can know like, oh, this one would also make a good contribution, or this one. What is then important is, well, first of all, to see if these authors are really relating to the same topic, and perhaps to also identify a key coordinator for that author group, and to make sure that you are corresponding to us in terms of working out, elaborating the abstracts. So let me at this point ask whether there are any questions about this process, the production of the abstract, the organization of the author groups, and also the organization of some leadership in the author groups. Perhaps I can ask Dr. Reginald to give... Hello, who's that?
This is Wondemo. Hi,
Wondemo.
Professor
Hi,
Mariam.
Wondemo. Yeah, please. Yes.
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you
Wondemo.
very much. Just to give some input, I think
Yes.
for the abstract, it would be good to include, Ministry of Health in the pool, since at the end of the day, the publication, I think it's possible to, to link the output of the research to the practice. So I will introduce you. I will link you the focal person from Ministry of Health, Policy Plan Directorate, Director and Deputy Directorate, Director, Mr. Brooke Abate, and also Masood Mahmoud in the pool. I think that's the country. So I think that would be very important. I think all country has to link, Ministry of Health people in the pool, and then it's possible to facilitate every administrative issue, and also as the result will be applicable in the practice. Thank you.
That is excellent. So for there will be chapters on. There will be articles on particular countries. And then I completely agree with you, Wondimo, that it is really very good to bring in not just universities, but also those from the hospitals, those doing the data stewardship, and those doing the governance from the ministries or Bureau of Health. So I recommend that you and Dr. Raya and Getu take this on in the article on fair deployment in Ethiopia. The same is happening in Kenya, so I wanted to ask Dr. Reginald to give a short update on that article, just by way of example.
Thank you, Professor. Yes, we are looking at, okay, the numbers may not be accurate, but the origin was number 24, leadership for collaboration in value creation in the commons across the globe. This is an article where we are collaborating with the CEST Foundation, Pumwani maternity team, hospital team, and then the data stewards who are involved there, together with the social workers who are on the ground. So the key question here is how to relate what you have learned in VODAN Africa, the issue of fair data, and then what is happening on the ground that we can share information across the globe. So part of the questions that are coming out is looking at SDG number 3 in relation to what is coming out with the FDP technicalities about the process of collaboration in Kenya, and then about the information on the ground. Then on the ground, we have had a very good experience of 2 strong social workers who have been working closely with young girls who have had issues of early pregnancy, and then how the hospital is coming in to give support. So together with the Philips Foundation, we are able to come up with an article that looks at this issue. Thank you, Professor.
So these are 2 examples of country articles, but then there are also examples of articles that really look at particular processes or at particular methods that have been used. So I don't know, Putu or Mariam, whether you would like to say something about your proposed article on fair equivalency in regulatory frameworks. Would you like to speak to that?
I think Mariam is better to speak because I just follow the Mariam work, so I think it's Mariam is.
Mariam?
Yeah. Okay. So I can speak to that. So the fair equivalence article will mainly focus on the 14 key policy documents in the ICT were selected. For 14 policy documents in the ICT and health sectors that were pivotal to the emerging e-health sector were selected, and they were obtained and analyzed using a comprehensive coding labeling. Basically finding whether they mentioned the FAIR principles or FAIR equivalent principles. So using the same approach, the documents were analyzed on whether they mentioned the equivalent of each of the sub-criteria facets of FAIR in order to determine the level of FAIR equivalence. In a nutshell.
Thank you, Mariam. Yes, so the FAIR equivalency articles really look at the methodology used to understand the regulatory framework in relation to the FAIR guidelines in the health sector. So now let me ask if there are any other speakers to the articles, if you would like to explain how you see the article that so far you are associated with.
Sorry, Professor Miriam, Sakinat raised her hand, so maybe...
Sure, please, Sakinat, yes. Yes, oh yeah, I see that. Sakinat, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm sorry. Initially, when we started, I had problem with my network, but Dr. Abdullahi, I think he gave a report on FDPs in Nigeria. The other FDP that had problem is up and doing now. Is working well now, and we can even access the allegograph and query the FDP. Everything is working fine now. Yes, I just want to talk about the special issue, the journal. One, I really don't see the synergy between the authors. At least some of the topics that I saw my name on, or the ones that I felt that maybe I could contribute, just like Professor Miriam encouraged that I added my name. We have not really met and discussed the line we should show, or maybe explain what we are supposed to do on those special topics. And the second deadline is fast approaching now. So I'm afraid really have to sit down and talk and interact more. Just encourage interaction between the authors. There was a topic on the applicability of FAIR deployment on observational patient data in various settings. And I saw my name there initially with Dr. Araya and Dr. Reginald. I sent a mail immediately, and myself and Dr. Reginald, we really came up with something, though we really don't know what was meant by various settings. So maybe we just came up with something and hoping that we could get in touch with Professor Miriam to explain what we actually expect there. But to my dismay, the topic is no longer available, or maybe is merged with another topic. Then, yes, then on data analytics, FAIR data science, myself and Ezekiel, we are the only two authors there, though we have come up with some idea or guideline on what to do with FAIR data science analytics. But I think that maybe we should still get maybe a little bit of explanation or orientation on what actually we are expected to do. Though I know that this is kind of, this kind of a template for others to follow, if I can put it that way. This is the first time this kind of thing is happening. So most of what we do, we really don't have a reference like that. So, so I really like to explanation on that fair data science analytics, because the way we look at it from data science analysis and from fair data point. But I don't know, or we don't know whether that is the direction we are supposed to go. But if we get a guideline, a thorough guideline, I'm sure that we'll do something very beautiful. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Dr. Sakinat. That's a very good intervention. First of all, no article can disappear. So if it has disappeared, it's an error, because everybody can come up with any article. So there is nobody who would throw away any idea. So I have no answer to that. The only thing that I can say is that I'll talk with Alia and Misha, and we'll see what happened. What I did ask was that the articles were rearranged by topic, so maybe something went wrong, but it was completely unintentional. So please, if that article can work for you and Dr. Reginald and Dr. Araya, put it back. And you can write to Alia and Misha. They can edit. You can edit yourself because all of this is in Google Sheets. So actually, that whole folder is from all of us. Everything is open. You can work in all of the articles. So it's ours. That is to that article, Dr. Sakinat. It should be there. If you have an idea with it, it should be there. Now on the titles and the content, just by way of making suggestions, like you could think in that direction or that direction, we made the initial titles and suggestions, like maybe this author, maybe that author. But well, number one, maybe it wasn't the best idea. Maybe there are better ideas. Change it. Maybe your name wasn't in the right place, but it could be somewhere else. Change it. Maybe you think it could be possible, but then it should be a little bit different. Then speak to the other authors, change the title, anything. There is nothing in the proposal that is an obligation. So the way you should look at this is that, well, Feng Hong is here. She has given us the possibility to do a special issue as VODAN Africa and Asia. We have said, yes, we'll do it. Now it is all of us in our different responsibilities to fill that in a meaningful way. And all of us are there with our credentials, academic credentials or otherwise, to make sure that this is, an academically relevant article. So I'm not directing you, I'm not even actually guiding you, but we've tried to open up the space to make it hopefully easier to engage. But don't be confused by anything, make it your own. Is your article, is your proposal, is your anything of it is yours in a way to decide. On the principle of the authors, we should follow strictly academic rules. So nobody should add their name if they haven't added anything in that article. If you are proposing yourself as an author, it means that you can add something to that article in a meaningful way. But sometimes that can be 3 or 4 important and relevant sentences. So it is good to have more authors and to create really the variety of inputs. And it doesn't necessarily need to mean that you write the full article. It can be a contribution. But of course, within the teams, you have to organize some real leadership and ownership over those articles to get it ready, because it takes time to write a good article. So that is important, that you take ownership over the articles where you really want to be a key author. Then for the final selection of the articles, not the abstracts, but the final selection of the articles, we are going to assume that we can work the articles in such a way that they will become relevant to the special issue, that the work that has gone into it, that it really brings fruition. But we're going to have to work with the double-blind peer review team, and that is led, the chair of that is Professor Sakinat. And Professor Sakinat, I am happy to inform that in addition to Feng Hong, there is also Professor Mawere and Professor Mubaya from GZU, who have informed me that they are happy to be on your team. So there will be a team of 4 people looking at the performing the double-blind peer review, Prof. Sakinat. On the abstracts, I don't see that it would be an issue of necessarily rejecting, but more for us to look at the abstracts and then to give orientation to the authors' teams to think of this or think of that, or that there is convergence with this article and another article, so that we avoid duplication, but that we strengthen the whole special issue by knowing everything else that is there. But you too, you can read the progress of the other articles if the authors are working on the Google Sheets in the folder, and here in the chat Misha has put the folder, so it's all at your disposal. So yeah, that is really what I have to say. From the AT, great idea, COVID-19 data dictionary also necessary. That is interesting. That would be a very interesting idea to do an article on that, also on the vocabulary of the FAIR group. Thank you, Ibrahim. Any further questions or comments to this? And please speak frank, as Dr. Sakinat did. That's very helpful. Seems like everything is clear. Perhaps, Feng Hong, I can ask you to share a little bit of your experience with the previous special issues. You have a lot of experience in this, and we can only really just learn from you.
Yeah, so for the last special issue, actually the similar workflow, we firstly also collected abstracts from potential authors. We listed potential topics. Then we got a potential author list and got the abstract. And then we reviewed the abstract to not get authors, but suggest authors to to provide our suggestions to authors what we would like them to add. That is the first step. And then we collected the full-length articles and then cross-review of all of articles. And after that, because all of articles are focused on FAIR principles, and then we made a cross-links among articles. Article 1 could be very closely linked to Article 3, or Article 3 could be very closely related to Article 9. We made the cross links for each article, so that our readers can get one article, can get additional information from other articles. Does it make sense? Am I clear?
I think so. Let me ask to everybody else. Is it clear? And it would be best to look at different as work on the project together. Maybe I can ask Alia or Simon to already give the number of words for the article. You can also find that in the broad outline. There's also a print of it.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Miriam just disconnected.
Oh.
I'm actually still on the call.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead, Miriam?
No, Professor Miriam, I think is off.
Yeah, Professor Miriam disconnected. I thought my connection is bad, but I think Professor Miriam
He was
disconnected.
speaking on the special issue of the journal.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alia or Misha has something to add to what she already said. We have like 3 minutes to go anyways.
Sorry, I was also disconnected. The Zoom seems to be unstable today. Francesca, I heard you taking over.
Yes, Prof. I was just asking that since we're speaking on the journal, if Alia or Misha has an additional information from what to continue from where you start, or you're here now.
I think that they don't have any additional information. So now on the process of the abstract, is there? I have lost the chat, so I can't answer to the chat. But Francesca, you can perhaps. Let me just ask before we close if there's any additional question at this moment on the preparation of the abstract. Oh, and I see that. Yeah, I have only partially the chat. I don't have everything on the chat. So if there was any question, I can't see it.
I'll send it.
Yeah. Any? Is everybody clear? Can I see that in the chat? I want then to close, but I want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in the preparation of the abstract. And you can do that in the Google Sheets, and then the review team will go through all of the Google Sheets, and we will then give you some comments there, and then also again contact you in email. Francesca, all clear. Mariam, yes. Reginald, all good. Thank you. Everybody else?
And I'm sorry, Professor. You know, Google doesn't work in China, so I cannot get access to the abstract.
Yeah, I will send them to you via email.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about the inconvenience.
Oh, no problem. Nothing you can do about it.
And then the abstracts will be reviewed by Professor Francesca, myself, and Feng Hong, just for clarity as well.
Okay.
Okay, then I think that for this session, at least I've done my timekeeping, Putu, and I hand over to you. And I thank everybody for participation and and wonderful engagement. And hope to see all of you next week. Then we'll discuss further on the abstracts, which then we hope to have received. Putu, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Miriam. So thank you, everyone. We will do appreciate for your participation in this session. As always, the video recording of the webinar will be available this week in every channel such as Slack, OSF, and WhatsApp group. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next week.
Thank you, Putu.
Great Captain Putu. Great Captain Putu. Good coordination.
Thanks, Putu.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Asma.